Welcome back to this week's episode of Miles Ahead. I am your host, Amelia Miles. If you are watching this on YouTube right now, I am so sorry, but you cannot see me right now. But let me paint you like a nice little picture. I'm in my bed, actually, and it's a Monday night, and yeah, I'm exhausted. And the thought of setting up a camera, makeup, hair did not seem appealing to me. And even though I did the last episode with no makeup on and didn't even basically do my hair, I was like, you know what? They can't see me this time. I'm looking even rougher than I did that time. But thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a whirlwind of a week. I didn't post anything last week because I just wanted to take some time off. I felt like I was really sucked in on social media. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but lately I just feel like I've just been turning to it. And I'm just like, I just needed a break. And I got off it a little bit and stepped away from the podcast for a little bit. But I'm back. We're back. Not fully back because you can't see me yet, but we are back. And so I hope everybody's having a great first week of June. I cannot believe we're already in June. And I feel like school is going to be back. And I know some of the parents out there are like, please bring the school back sooner rather than later because someone get these kids. I'm literally can hear some kids right outside this door right now, but it's whatever. Never here nor there. I don't really have any big hot topics this week besides me about to divulge, and I mean I'm going to dive in to Love Island USA. First of all, last season was epic, iconic, all of that balled into one. And now we are with these new cast members, and it is messy already. I'm already on, I think episode 3, and I think there's about 5 out right now, and it is so good. And, my thing is, would you last on Love Island? Would I last on Love Island? I don't know either. Because I feel like once you start a connection with somebody, it's hard to continue to find other connections, too. Also, the Pacers, we are in the finals. Let's go. Yes, sir. What the Halliburton? He did not help my bet out last night, but that is okay. We don't have no beef. We're good as long as he, helped me out, put some coins back into my pocket. Other than that, everything else has been pretty solid. I mean, the pools are open. People are heading to the lakes on the weekends. My nieces are out of school, which means they are in my pocket. I have all my trips planned for this summer. Everything's been pretty good. I mean, besides the fact of, you wish you had more money, but, in this economy, what are you going to do? Apparently, they just recalled eggs. Recalling eggs is crazy. Now to my favorite part of the whole entire episode, interview portion. Okay, so this person, I met him not even when I was at IU, but that's how we bonded about IU. He is a diehard IU basketball fan, IU soccer, you name it. This man has pinstriped pants on all the time if he wanted. If it was actually socially acceptable, he would wear his pinstriped pants everywhere. And without further ado, let's take flight and listen to Alec Pena. He is unfiltered. He is unhinged. Not a trigger warning. I don't know if you're going to get triggered by this, but censor warning. If you're listening to in the car with your kids, hopefully they cover their ears to some of these parts because this man, oh my gosh, he's so funny. He's literally so funny. And as always, let's keep moving forward together. Here we go. My now whipped cream. Alec Pena, welcome to Miles Ahead.
Cheers.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you so much. It's good stuff. I know you barely have any drinking.
I know.
That's right.
I was thirsty.
I know you were.
So, you're here for your birthday weekend, but I want to tell people how we met. It was a Monday night at the Latch String, and it was karaoke night.
Yes.
No idea why I was there on a Monday night, but it's whatever. We don't need to discuss. And we were, just all sitting at this long table, and you were there with your coworkers at the time, and it was your turn to sing, and you sang the song.
Tequila.
How many words are in tequila?
1, 2, 3.
And I was like, this guy is iconic.
Well, I mean, it was National Tequila Day, right?
Yes.
And I just finished my first serving shift. This is during COVID, so I was like, okay, I got to make some money. So I decided to be a server. And they said, oh, everyone goes to the latch string. And I was like, I don't know what this is. I mean, I feel like I'm going to walk in there. Like, it's one of those bars you just look at it and like.
It's either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it.
Right. And I'm like, am I going to get hate crimed here? But like, I was like, you know what? Whatever. Going for everything. And I didn't realize Monday night karaoke. Like, which bar has a Monday night karaoke?
That it's actually fun, and like people aren't in there just getting drunk and just
lit.
Not good, but it was like a good time. Like people would sing the cha-cha slide.
Right.
People would sing "Living on a Prayer." Like it would be a vibe.
You never know what someone's gonna sing at that bar. You never know. But yeah, I was like, oh, it's National Tequila Day. Gotta sing tequila.
Of course.
100%.
And then I saw you. I don't know if it was. I was wearing a Hoosier shirt or somebody was wearing a Hoosier shirt, and then we kind of sparked up a conversation,
right.
And that's when we realized you went to IU,
yes.
I went to IU,
right.
Like it was just like a whole like little reunion thing.
Yeah, there are a lot of people obviously that went to IU, but then when you meet someone who's also as passionate as I am about IU and like the time I experienced down there, that's when it's like, okay. I can mess with these people. These people are great. And
we were inseparable for the next like year or two right after that.
I mean, 5 years later.
Yeah.
This happened right after COVID started, So it's 5 years now. And here we are. I'm on podcast.
With Amelia Miles.
With Amelia Miles.
So I kind of want to start from the beginning of who is Alec Pena. So talk about, where you grew up. Did you grow up in Fort Wayne? Stuff like that.
Gosh, who's Alec Pena? That is probably one of the more loaded questions you can ask. To answer your question, where I come from, I'm not going to say my mother's vagina, but I just did, didn't I? No, I was actually born in Orlando, which explains a lot.
Yeah.
Florida boy, Florida man.
Okay.
Right. Probably dropped a few times on my head, and then we moved to Fort Wayne, Indiana, where my mom's originally from. My family's up here; they're still up here, and I was around the age of 9, so like 4th grade-ish. I don't know if that's right, but yeah, came up here. So this is like my true childhood home. Like this is where I grew up. My best memories here. I absolutely love being from Indiana. I'm a Hoosier. I currently live in Atlanta. I've lived in Atlanta for the past 3.5 years. Obviously, leaving you all was
hard.
So hard.
Gosh, the goodbye dinner was tough.
It was so tough. I was singing sad songs for karaoke.
Yeah. And you never sing sad songs.
And I was crying up there.
Yeah.
I was crying like a little baby. I'm like, why would I do this to myself? Why would I do this? But yeah, it was great times. Fort Wayne's my forever home. But yeah, I currently live in Atlanta. I work at a major airline. I'm a flight attendant.
We'll get to all of that, all of it to unpack.
Yeah, there's a lot of tea, But yeah, no, I've absolutely love calling myself a Hoosier, and
you're coming back.
And I'm coming back in a month and a half. Month and a half, I'm coming back to Indiana.
So why make that move? I feel like we talk about this all the time. Midwest values. I was literally talking about that the other day. Talk about how, since you lived in the South for that long to, living also in the Midwest, what's the biggest distinction of all? And you can be blunt. You could say people are rude. The Southern charm isn't really the Southern charm, stuff like that.
Well, you kind of hit a couple, really.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, when you live in the Midwest and you experience how hospitable, how kind, how genuine people are, and then you go to the South and you hear about, Southern hospitality. I've said it before. It's a very bless your heart kind of fake, passive aggressive sort of hospitality. Don't get me wrong. A lot of great people, a lot of nice people. I brought my one friend up for my birthday weekend to Indiana from the South, Atlanta boy his whole life. Great guy. I understand that I am generalizing it, but for me, it just wasn't, I didn't feel as welcome there as I do back in the Midwest. And it's not just Indiana. It could be anywhere in the Midwest, Ohio, Wisconsin, Chicago, Michigan. It doesn't really matter. I genuinely enjoy the people here. And with that being said, I have appreciated my 3.5 years in Atlanta. I've had an absolute blast. I've done some of the stupidest things imaginable that I probably won't even share for the sake of my reputation, which really kind of was lost years ago. But I've enjoyed my time there, but I knew it was not my permanent home. The Midwest is home for me. I love it here.
So when you think about, your time in Atlanta and even just growing up in the Midwest in general and kind of going through life as a gay man, what is the biggest distinction going from the Midwest to Atlanta when it comes to, being your true, authentic self?
Well, first of all, thanks for exposing me. I don't think it's that obvious, people. I don't know. Maybe me drinking a seltzer out the can, wearing a jean jacket and jean pants, whatever. I don't know what I'm saying. With non-prescription glasses. I don't know if that gave it away.
Alec, keep talking.
To answer your question, living in the Midwest, obviously we have conservative parts. Obviously, well, all over. I have a partially conservative family too. I was very blessed and lucky to have a family that, believes that God loves all his kids, all his children. Jesus died for our sins, and whether you find it as a sin or not, whatever, we are all God's children. Yep. And in my family, we believe in respecting everyone no matter their differences, no matter what makes them unique. It does not matter. We treat everyone equally with kindness. And I was very lucky to have that. And I understand not a lot of kids I'd have people that have been kicked out of the house because of that. And that's in the South, the Midwest. It doesn't matter where you are. It can be in the West. It can be in Northeast. It doesn't matter where you are. There's always going to be ignorance and hate. And the way to combat that is with love, always. You experience hate once in a while. And at the end of the day, you just kind of self-reflect and say, you know what, I'm glad I'm not that hateful kind of person. I'm glad that I have lived a life that is full of compassion, full of understanding, full of empathy. When you live like that, it doesn't matter what someone says to you. Obviously, words can hurt at a certain point, but you know what? Their life is much more miserable than mine. And it doesn't matter whether I'm in Indiana or I'm in Georgia. I've experienced it everywhere. You know what I mean? And I don't mean like in an aggressive way where I've like experienced like true hatred, but I've heard comments and you see it on social media, you see it in politics. Unfortunately, it's just out there. Unfortunately, that is nothing that's going to go away. So I realized the best way to kind of go about that is to kind of the cliche, ignore the haters, and just live your life with love, compassion, empathy, and do you, because it's not your job to make them happy. It's your job to make yourself happy. And that's the most important thing. And I'm very lucky to have had a family that taught me that and treated me with the same level of respect, no matter my differences. So that's kind of something I would share to everyone if you're kind of struggling and trying to come to terms with your sexuality or trying to figure out what purpose you might have, or everyone's got a purpose. Everyone there's meaning to your life, and it doesn't matter where you come from, what your background is. There's always gonna be haters, no matter who you are. You just gotta do you, live life with love, treat people with kindness, and it always comes back around to you.
What's your coming out story? Do you have one?
Gosh, not really. To really answer your question, I think people knew I was LGBTQ plus. Listen. I mean, I think it was pretty, not obvious, but I think there were signs. Growing up, I will say this: I was kind of a player in elementary school. I had a lot of girlfriends. Listen, and that once I got to middle school, that dwindled down to maybe 2 girlfriends that I had in the span of 2 years. But I mean, I was racking them up. Listen, and people thought, I was the shiznits, and I thought that was what I was supposed to do, but I never really got anything out of it. Like, I held a girl's hand, and I was like, get the fuck off of me.
Yeah.
This is not it. This ain't it, Chief. But then I started to notice things. I was like, okay, yeah, there's some guys that also I might think are somewhat attractive, but I didn't understand what attraction was. I didn't understand any of that. Then I started getting into high school, everything, and I was like, oh yeah, I think it's there, and I think people maybe started realizing it and started asking me, and I think that is when I really started like self-reflect. I was like, maybe. But
do you think that's what forced you to like explain yourself to people?
Somewhat. It kind of that pressure of people questioning it. I started to question myself, but my way of going about it was to kind of deflect it, and my way of deflecting it was to. I'm still disappointed to this day, but it's a very real thing. I started to act more outwardly homophobic and against who I was, to try to cover it up, because I was so worried.
No, I get that.
I'm in a Christian conservative suburban neighborhood. Yes, a lot of loving, accepting people, but I was not exposed to that yet. I didn't know any better. I was still growing. I was still learning about myself, and I think I came more to terms with reality, and I didn't really necessarily like come out. It just kind of like people just like it naturally happened. People would ask, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't like make a whole like soiree about it. I didn't have a whole party or anything like that. I did like write a letter to my mother, but it was never that deep. Like, it was never that serious for me. After a while, after I started to realize, I was just like, you know what, this is who I am. I don't need to make a big, fiesta out of it, and that's okay. And it just kind of naturally has just happened. It never really officially came out. Like, I don't have a big Facebook message post or Facebook post pinned to my my profile that says, "Hey y'all, I'm gay." Like, I think some people figure that out.
I get that completely.
But
when it comes to like just being gay in general, like growing up in high school, because you went to Homestead.
Yeah.
And that place is like, first of all, it's like a battleground over there, first of all. So how did you navigate high school?
Well, high school, I mean, honestly, I met some great people. I had kind of different friend groups, which I was really grateful for. There were some friends, that were part of the student section. And I was like, oh, these are my friends. These are my student section friends. And then I have some of my classmate friends that, I
so
study
people were
with.
Accepting.
Yeah. I mean,
good.
people were accepting, but it's like, like I said, it never. I think people knew, but no one ever like really like cared. You know what I mean? It's like no one brought it up, and I was so cool with that, because it's just like it shouldn't be a big deal. It really shouldn't be just a big thing. It's just who you are. It's part of everyone's got differences in who they are. We all have these different characteristics and qualities that make us who we are. And we don't go around saying like, hey, I'm this or I'm that or whatever like that. That's just kind of how I lived it. Now I'm very proud of my differences. You're a proud Puerto Rican woman. I'm a proud Dominican man.
Hey.
You know what I mean? And that's why we get along, because we're a little crazy.
Yes.
Dominicans and Puerto Ricans.
Get out. Watch out.
Listen,
please.
If you see them in the same room together, just
mess around and find out.
Yeah.
So then after high school, you have college, the Indiana University.
Indiana.
So talk about why Indiana.
Right.
Where that love started, and I know you're a big IU soccer fan, but you also played soccer. So kind of like talk about that in like a little scope.
Yeah, soccer was the sport that I frequented the most. I even became a soccer referee, and I refereed soccer for 13 years. I just got my license again, so I'm going to go back onto the soccer pitch and do that again. IU, I kind of fell in love with basketball because of IU. I never really was that into basketball until I moved to Indiana, and then I started watching Hoosier basketball. And I just was obsessed with it. I was obsessed with the passion. I was obsessed with the fans. I was just obsessed with the traditions and Assembly Hall and just everything. So I started to become a really consistent fan in high school, especially. And I went to the campus, and I fell in love instantly.
Same.
I went on that campus, and I was just like, this is where I'm going to school. And no one's going to tell me otherwise.
Were you considering any other ones?
I wasn't. I really wasn't. IU was the school for me. I knew that going in. And it just was, I felt so at home, so welcome. It was just a beautiful campus. People are great. People are a lot of fun, a lot of things to do there. And, I just kept my fandom of the Hoosiers. And, going to college, I just absolutely had the best 4 years of my life, which is what college is all about. It's about learning, it's about making mistakes, and it's about having the 4 best years of your life that, you'll never get again, which is still hard for me to say considering that we're old.
Yeah. And we still go back.
And we still go back.
Proudly.
We proudly go back to Bloomington. It's just like, I'm excited for this year again. I have season football tickets. We proudly go to IU. And I wouldn't change it for the world. If I can go back 100 times, I would do it again.
I need a crazy night out story.
Oh God, which one do you want?
I need something juicy. Give me something juicy where you're just like, Amelia, you would not.
So this one is tough because there's so many, but I think the one that comes to mind is I was on this date with this one guy, and we went to Ami, the Japanese place. Oh my gosh, shout out to Ami. Thank you for providing me with the perfect dinner to bring a date to. I didn't have a lot of moments of that, but still. But either way, brought this one guy. We went there, and then we go to this play or something like that. Indiana University's got a fantastic musical arts program, one of the best in the world. And we go to that, and I'm thinking, we're chilling. It's been very chill. Then he's like, let's go to a party. And I'm like, okay, this is my freshman year. I had never been drunk up until freshman year.
Really?
Never been drunk up until freshman year. I was a nun.
I feel like the outgoing people that don't need alcohol to be on the level don't drink until later. That's why I didn't even drink in high school either. And people are surprised by that.
People are shocked when I said I had not been drunk until my time at Indiana University during Welcome Week. I was having Malibu rum.
Malibu rum is crazy.
It was going down like water. I was like, this is what alcohol is? I love it. And then I had a shot of peach taka, and I'm like, which this is where the story's going.
Oh no.
This is where the story's going. So like a little disclaimer. So we're drinking. And I'm just like, just chilling, bopping around, and then it starts to hit me a little bit. So I'm like, okay, lit. This is great. And he starts getting a lot hotter when I have a few drinks, everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, this guy's, he's kind of cute, whatever. So I'm vibing a little bit more, everything. And, we start kissing, doing our little thing. And,
Ooh, like making out on like the dance floor or something?
Oh,
or like...
we were at I think we were at the baseball house, right across from the football stadium. And we're vibing. I mean, we're shoulder to shoulder, crammed in there. It smells like weed and cheap peach taka. Which, speaking of which, I'm like, peach taka. I love peaches. I'm gonna take some of this, and I'm thinking I'm like about to drink some Malibu rum, something like that.
Yeah.
I start drinking this. I thought I reached the 10th level of hell, but I was just like, I guess this is what college is. So party. I'm gonna have some more of this peach taka. I should have just stopped.
Exactly. That's what you're supposed to do.
Well, you know how I said college is about making mistakes and making bad decisions. Well, this was one of those. So I'm with this date, everything, and at this point, I'm drunk. We go to this other house just down the road, and I had never heard of the word or the drink jungle juice. I have never heard of that drink before. But I'm thinking jungle juice. I'm like, okay, sweet. Someone said, oh, it's got Hawaiian punch in it. I'm like,
I love Hawaiian punch.
I'm like, this is it. I'm like, okay, yes, college. Let's do it. I have 3 glasses of this jungle juice.
Said jungle juice.
In the span of an hour, probably.
Oh,
and I'm already drunk. And this is going down like water. Once again, I'm drinking this and I'm just like, I don't know. I never had experienced this before. Mm-hmm. And once again, I'm with my date. Why did I make this decision? I don't know. But still, I don't know. The drinks were flowing and he was looking hot. And I'm like, let's see how much hotter he can get. So at this part, I'm browned out. I am almost toast. And he's like, okay, let's walk home. I'm thinking
the walk homes are iconic.
Well, not this one. Not this one. I fell going up a hill.
Yes, I know exactly what hill probably too. Yep.
College and Walnut.
Yep.
To go back to Smallwood.
Yeah.
It'll always be Smallwood. It's something different now.
Yeah. I think they're dorms almost. I think they're dorms. Off-campus dorms.
I don't know what they did to it, but whatever they did, I'm not okay with it. Mm-hmm. But either way, we walked to the original Smallwood. But like I said, I'm going up the hill and I fall down the hill. Mm-hmm. Going down the hill. No, I fall up the hill.
Yeah.
I am an embarrassment at this point. My mom's probably like looking in on me with, and just like, God, here's my son. And I'm just like, but I'm with this guy and I'm trying to play it cool. Mm-hmm. It's almost impossible. So we get to Smallwood, everything. We get up to the room. And when you're out, partying, loud music, everything, you're just kind of in that environment. And then you get home or you get to an apartment and everything just becomes very quiet.
And the spins.
And I thought, I was like, is this where I die? Because everything was spinning. Yeah. He looked like, now I got 5 hot guys. Yeah. Uh-huh. 5 of him. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, which one are you? And I probably kissed like his calendar on accident because he was all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
And I run to the bathroom. I throw up. Mm-hmm. It's a mess. I'm laying down in the kitchen, in the bathroom the whole time while he's like taking care of me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God bless his heart.
Well, right. Right, yeah, that asshole. The next morning, everything, he's like, you should go. And I'm like, yeah, I should. I called my mom crying. I said, Mom, I don't feel good. And this guy kicked me out of his house. And I don't know what to do. And she's freaking out. She thinks I'm abducted somewhere in the middle of BFE. Yeah. And she's like, what's wrong? I said, I just drank a lot of alcohol. And, I like hyperventilate and everything. And I feel so sick. She said, Alec, go to McDonald's. Yep. Get a burger. Get fries. Yep. Shut your ass up. Get back to your dorm and do something with your life. Yes. Like, go. Yep. You're fine. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay.
Did you ever see that guy again?
Oh, on campus all the time, but we'd always make that awkward eye contact and be like,
you don't see me, I don't see you, we're good.
Right. Plus, he had the smallest penis I think I've
really
ever seen.
So, like micro penis?
Some would say. I don't know. But bless him. Bless him. At the end of the day, I was like, you know what? I can't marry that. Because what am I supposed to do? I'm not going to be with a Tic Tac. So, cheers to him.
Tic Tac is crazy. Okay, so you are a flight attendant for a major company.
Yes.
And you have traveled everywhere. Every time I look on your social media page, I'm like, where is this man now? Where is Alec? So... I like it. Okay, so what's one of the biggest misconceptions about being a flight attendant?
It's not as luxurious as people make it out to be.
Why do you say that?
Listen, the job is fantastic. It is absolutely awesome. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, when they see or hear about what it is to be a flight attendant, a lot of people think of just like this very luxurious lifestyle. And,
I think that.
Well, and people think, oh, we're going on all these great trips all the time, and the schedule's like perfect and all that stuff. And reality is, it is a fantastic job. It is my dream job. I can't see myself doing anything else. Mm-hmm. But the schedule can be very demanding. You're working the holidays, you're working weekends. Sometimes you're having 4 a.m. Report times,
yeah.
or you are working red eyes, or you're waking up. There's a lot of misconceptions around about the position, and I have found myself to be in a very lucky position, working fantastic trips. I've gone to some fantastic layovers, and I kind of know how to work, bid my schedule correctly, and whatnot. But sometimes, for instance, I had a layover in Springfield, Missouri. And I thought that when we pulled up to the resort, that's what it's called. It is called a resort, the Oasis Resort, Springfield, Missouri. I thought that there was for sure at least a dozen meth labs going on behind me.
That's not where I thought you were going with that.
Oh, no. But once again, though, I had a 17-hour layover in beautiful Springfield, Missouri at the Oasis Resort.
Come on in.
Oh gosh, we have an interjector. Jesus Lord, it's Stevie Wonder.
Interjection.
Oh God, I'm not taking that shit. You got me fucked up if I'm doing that.
Happy birthday.
Open your mouth.
Oh yeah, here.
God,
Open your
I
mouth.
have never heard that before. Don't you tell me what to do with my mouth, ma'am.
Shot. En el nombre del Padre y lo Hijo y lo Espíritu Santo. I'm not drinking that shit. Oh, fuck no. You got me shit. Nope. I'm not drinking Jameson. No.
Someone's at the door.
What is he?
But, bye. But
Thanks for having me.
to answer your. Oh God, everyone's here.
Hey! Interjection! Come over here.
Oh God.
You just missed it. Wait, now you have to do it again.
No. I'm not doing whiskey. I'm staying clear. Listen, people, if there's one thing. Listen, folks, if there's one thing I could recommend from this podcast, if there's something that you can take away,
I'm feeding.
it is not to have friends because they are trying to kill me, okay?
And
What the hell?
What a beast.
See,
What is this? I'm not going to even ask.
There you go.
Vodka soda. Oh, gay drink. Listen. So, pardon the interruption. I do have fans.
Okay, one more.
No, bitch. Listen, I am a feminist, but you are really pushing it.
I got it on video that I was me spilling on your friend's shirt. I love you guys.
Anyway,
You
so.
guys are here. We're gonna play Uno.
Okay, we'll be here. All right. Alec, those are your friends, your family.
Listen, I love my friends. I really do. Next.
All right, so now we've come to the part in the show where we're going to get to these theme segments that we're going to stay on brand here, okay? I know you're double fisting, so keep it up. We're in the middle of a bar crawl right now for him, so I am staying sober because I'm the DD tonight. But as of right now, I'm saying right now, I drank last night. I don't need to drink tonight. Okay, anyway, so we have come to the part where it is a mile marker. So is there something, either whether it was in your career or in your life, where it kind of changed your trajectory a little bit?
COVID.
Really?
COVID is the easiest answer here. I'll tell you why. I graduated 2020 May. Well, you graduated
19.
19, right. And it was like a reset button for me.
Really?
And yes, I know COVID, horrible. I also saw it as an opportunity, even though it was tough times and, a lot of people were struggling. Honestly, we all were really struggling. It was a time for me to kind of self-reflect and figure out what I really wanted to do with my career after graduation. And another great thing about it was I was able to spend a little bit more time with my mom and brother because I knew this was the last time, as my brother, he's getting older, he's going to college, and I'm about to start my career. I knew this would probably be the last time that we all would spend together under the same roof for an extended period of time. So I really took advantage of it, and I really took a moment to kind of really self-reflect on who I wanted to be, and my mom was like, flight attendant. We've always talked about this. And I really was thinking about it. And I'm just like, you know what? It makes so much sense. And I went for it. And for example, we had 250,000 applicants and they only hired 3,000. So I was in a 1.5% essentially. Oh, wow. And I'm very blessed, very lucky to have had this opportunity. And I'm absolutely living it up to the fullest. And I don't know what I would be doing. I don't even know if I would be a flight attendant if it weren't for COVID. So, you know, I try to find all the positives, even when there were a lot of negative things going on, a lot of negativity during that time. But I kind of took advantage of it, and I used that year and a half to just self-reflect and be like, this is your career. This is what you need to do. And I'm so glad that I had that opportunity to do so.
Well, I'm glad you're back, though. Selfishly, I'm glad you're back in the Midwest. I feel like I saw you grow as not only as a person, but as like a human on this earth, and like your personality, your kindness, and all of that stuff. So when I hear you talk about how some people are not on that wavelength down there, I'm glad you recognized that and like you came back home to where, not that it's familiar or where it's comfortable, it's just where you were called to be again.
100%. And see, I have stepped out of my comfort zone a lot. Going to IU, even though I love it, it was hard because I'm leaving my mama. I'm a big mama's boy, okay? And leaving my mom, that was tough. And I was not ready for that. As much as I wanted to be ready for it, I really wasn't.
Shout out to
Kristen, Mumsy. That's my girl. I love my mom so much. Love your mothers. Love your mothers. Treat them with respect and kindness, even though sometimes I'm a real pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But I stepped out of my comfort zone there. I took a huge step going to Atlanta. I knew no one. I didn't know a single person in Atlanta. But I said, you know what? I am going to take a step because I'm young, I'm single, probably forever, and that's okay because you got to love yourself first before you start loving someone else. And wait, actually, that was kind of deep.
That was kind of deep.
That one just kind of just popped in my head. Okay.
Wow, the drinks are flowing.
It was
the Jameson.
It was the Jameson. So thank you. Shout out to my girl Carly for that. Because honestly, yeah. But, you know, when I stepped out of my comfort zone, I've learned that I have been so much happier with the results of it. And me stepping out of my comfort zone is just something I try to challenge myself and others to do, because when you do that, you're putting yourself out there, and you are putting yourself in a position where, you know what, there's gonna be surprises, there's gonna be, you know, you're gonna have things that don't go right and things that do go right, and you learn so much when you put yourself out there and put yourself in a position where, like, you're like, you don't know what you're doing. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, I'm gonna go to Atlanta. Why not? Let me try something new. And I just didn't realize how much. The one thing I didn't know is how much I was gonna miss being back home. And it's like I said, it's an experience I'm very grateful for. And I made great memories in Atlanta. But you know, it's hard. It's hard for some people like me to leave home where you have so many great memories, so many great friends, family, you know, your university, your alma mater, and you're like, oh my gosh, I miss that. And you know, when you come back a lot to visit, when I come back to visit Fort Wayne, even though we like to, you know, mess on Fort Wayne a little bit, you know, every once in a while.
And I get that, but like it's changed so much.
It's a great city. Yeah. It really is a great city. And you know, like I said, my one friend from Atlanta, he's here, and he's like, this place is really great. People are kind. People are wonderful. There's plenty to do. There really is. It's like, listen, the city's not boring. You're boring.
Ooh,
okay?
That part.
You're boring.
That part.
You can make any city fun. I can be in Timbuktu with you all and have a blast.
Oh, for sure.
It doesn't matter where you are.
All right.
Don't be a boring person. Be in a boring place, if that's what you want to call it, and I'm starting to get drunk. So
he's rambling. All right. Now it's a perfect time to pivot to fast lane questions. Don't think about it. First thing that comes to your head. Okay, ready, go. Top or bottom?
Pass.
Alec, you can't pass.
Well, it does depend.
Oh, let's do this. Fast lane, and then you have to drink if you don't want to answer it. There we go. Let's do that.
Okay. Well, to answer your question, it does depend on where the wind's blowing.
Okay. If it's blowing up your asshole or what? Okay, next question. And okay, favorite color.
Favorite color? Oh, red.
Favorite sport.
That's so tough. I'm trying to think of what men look hottest in.
Oh my god.
I would probably have to go with basketball. I mean, it's such a tough sport to beat.
First kiss. Who was it? Name drop.
I have.
You have no idea who your first kiss was? That's pathetic.
I have no clue. I really don't remember.
Not even like the syllable name.
No. It is not that I'm ashamed because I've kissed a lot of people.
Oh.
I kissed you before.
Oh yeah.
I am gay. And if you watch the podcast, you would know, or if you look at my outfit, you would know. Or if you look at my beverages, you would know.
Okay. Go to wing spot in Indiana, and then we'll do in Atlanta.
Well, in Indiana, Buffalo Louie's.
Okay, got it. Okay, then
Bloomington, baby.
Atlanta.
In Atlanta, gosh, that's so tough. There's so many good ones. Honestly, I really don't have a spot in Atlanta.
All right, we'll move on then.
Yeah.
What's one place you haven't traveled yet but want to?
Ooh, Thailand. I want to go to Thailand very bad.
Describe your dream man.
Heartbeat, 401k.
Okay. When you lost your virginity?
A long time ago.
You're not gonna give me a date?
A date?
Okay, a year.
It was April 12th, 1974. It was a crisp evening. Girl, I don't know the date. No, I don't. No, I don't know the date.
Okay, favorite brand, clothing brand.
Honestly, I do love me some H&M.
Okay.
I do really mess with H&M.
Okay.
But if you have ever been to a Primark before, have you ever heard of Primark?
No.
It is. They are located in major cities, especially out of the country.
Okay.
So Primark, if you ever see a Primark, go to Primark. Very cheap.
Okay.
But good stuff.
Okay. Boxers or briefs?
Neither.
Alec. Okay. Go-to cocktail.
Really, cock, just hold the tail. Okay, my go-to cocktail. I love an old fashioned if I'm feeling whiskey.
Okay.
But if I want to go clear, I do love me a vodka soda. Splash of cran. My friends got me a drink, but they forgot the splash.
You splash of cran,
We're
exactly.
just not going to talk about
It's fine.
it.
It's
We're going to
fine.
watch this podcast.
Favorite bar in Fort Wayne?
Favorite bar in Fort Wayne. Ooh, the old After Dark was the best. That was the best. But my favorite bar, Latch String, baby.
Latch String. Shout out to Latch String.
Shout out to Latch String.
If you could have dinner with a dead or alive celebrity, who would it be and why?
That's a great question.
Don't think about it too hard.
I think my favorite celebrity right now is probably Adele.
Really?
I love Adele.
What would be the first question you asked her?
I would ask her, like, because I try to be a kind person and a good person. I would like to ask her, like, where she gets that same kind of energy from, because she is seriously one of the most kindest, most wonderful celebrities there is. And she's so talented. She's got such a gift. And a lot of people who are like her, well, really no one's like her, but a lot of people that have a lot of talent, sometimes they're not like that. They're not as welcoming or kind. Or she remembers the little things. She remembers an English teacher that taught her.
I saw that.
And she shouted her out, and the English teacher happened to be there at her concert.
Yep.
She remembers the face of the doctor that delivered her baby.
Which is
in the middle of her singing at a Las Vegas concert. She like stops and she's like, "Shut the fridge."
Yeah.
And that like it takes
Genuine.
a special
That's
kind
so
of person.
genuine. Yeah.
She's so genuine, and I think she's hilarious too. I think having a little mimosa brunch with her would slap.
Okay.
I really would love that.
What's one trend that you wish would just go away?
I know I'm gonna sound like old, but I don't know, something about the TikTok dances.
You do them! We literally have done multiple TikTok dances together.
I know, but it's just something about them. I don't get the infatuation. Now listen, if you tell me to dance, I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna dance. I don't care what is going on. I don't care if it's a TikTok dance or whatever. But it's just some of the obsession. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't get it. But listen, here's the thing though. At the end of the day, it's your life. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. As long as you don't mess with me and you're happy, then who am I to tell?
Preach. So
do you. Just for me? No, I don't even have a TikTok. I don't. But I do enjoy watching TikTok videos. I think they're very educational. And some of the dances, I'm like, okay, white boy, but I mean, it's all in fun. It's all in fun, and I get that. And that's what it's about. It's about entertainment, and but for me, it's just the trend. Where I'm just like, okay.
All right, next one. Okay. Now we come to the part of the show where it's the rest stop. This is the part where you kind of self-reflect and kind of look on your life. So what's one piece of advice you would give to your younger self and why?
Gosh, that's tough. Honestly, if I were to give myself advice, younger Alec, I would probably say that it is okay to make mistakes. Don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself some grace because, you are a hard worker, you are kind, you do have great intentions. Sometimes things hit the fan and, that's just part of life. And sometimes when that does happen, I don't feel like I'm in control. And when I feel like I don't have the control of my own situation, sometimes I get a little too hard on myself and I start having self-doubt. And that's kind of how I was growing up. So if I could tell myself to not be so self-critical and just be okay with making mistakes. And I've gotten so much better at it. I've been so much better at it. If I can tell myself to just, be you, make the mistakes. Everything doesn't have to be perfect, because if you live your life trying to be perfectionist, then you're going to have a really shitty life. You really are. You can't control everything. So it's important to just kind of let loose a little bit. And that's what I've done. And I've gotten a lot better at that. And drinking alcohol does help. Don't take my advice. I'm not a medical professional. Don't do it.
All right. So people want to follow you on Instagram. What is your handle?
Oh, gosh. My first and last name. So Alec Pena 97 is my Instagram. And my grinder, that's just, you just have to find that one.
Are your DMs open, Alec?
The DMs are always open because listen.
Okay.
I like to hear what some people have to say. For example.
Oh, no. Wait, read me some messages, please.
For example, this guy sent me on Grindr, hi, ... I think my partner would love you.
All right, he's like, I need a couple more. Give me a couple more. Give me a couple more. Give me a couple more.
Hello, wavy face or wavy emoji. Just offering. I do erotic, relaxing, semi-professional massages, complimentary. If you might be interested, it's with lotion, clothing, and actually, I might be interested in this.
Okay, one more. Give me
One more.
One more.
Hey, Alec, you remember me? I have herpes. I'm kidding.
Alec!
That was a joke.
All right, what's one thing you want to leave the listeners or the viewers out there?
Tip your bartenders.
Or your mom's a hoe! Alec, you're welcome back here anytime.
I would love to come back.
Cheers!
Cheers!
Woo!
I got two.
Happy birthday!
Thank you, babe.
Happy birthday, Raven! Yeah, that was a great... Alec is so funny. Like, truly so funny. Well, that's it for this week's episode. As always, stay up to be on all things miles ahead. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, And I'll be having another giveaway soon. Thanks for everybody who entered the giveaway this past month. It was a good one. I know I'm already cooking up another one that's going to be solid. And even the boys will want to enter this one. Let's just say that. Let's just leave with that cliffhanger. So I hope you have an amazing week, day, month, night, whenever you're listening to this. I love you. See you guys later.